Hello, welcome traders. It is Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. Here's our trading daily video for you with an update on our portfolio, which had a great day today. Fantastic day in the portfolio. But we're going to spend a little more time on some charts and what we're seeing in the markets today. Question is the market ready to turn? Are we seeing a turn in the market? Are we still heading lower? What trades are out there and what trades could we possibly be putting on? So let's spend a little time in the charts today. And let's bounce over there. Quickly, I'll get myself off the camera here. And let's take a look at some of the charts. So we're starting ES first. So with ES, you can see on the weekly basis, I mean, 3 solid down weeks, bearish PSAR, MACD's dropping, RSI's dropping from overbought, which we expected to happen. Squeeze is running out of momentum. So right now, all the momentum is to the downside. There doesn't seem to be any break or any stopping of it. We're at the lows of the day and the lows of the week right now. So right now, the momentum is definitely down, and we're starting to come into this 21-day moving average area that you can see on the weekly chart here. That's where we're going to look to see, can we hold and bounce off of that? We're not too far off. We're only about 60 points away from that, sitting pretty close to the 49.90, 5,000 area or so here. So we'll see if we can hold above that and get a little bit of a bounce. But right now on the weekly, nothing to see here. And on the daily, you've had 4 pretty ugly days in a row. It was a mild sell-off until the last 4 days, and then they've really accelerated. And if we look at the MACD, the RSI, and the squeeze, you can see these things are definitely accelerating to the downside. Here we're getting farther and farther from the 21-day moving average, but even on the MACD, you can see the increases in all of these histograms showing you that we are definitely accelerating to the downside, and we close near the lows of the session. So nothing bullish at all. Right now, there are no bulls to be found. Yesterday, it looked like maybe a little bit of an indecision day. Bulls and bears waged a war, and no one really won. If we had ticked up today, we'd have been in great shape, but we did not for a bounce. We've blown through the 50-day, and we haven't even looked back and really come back to touch it. And now we're hitting close to the 3 ATR level here. Maybe we're getting a little bit closer to an oversold bounce or an oversold area on the daily, but we are nowhere near that on the weekly. I think we have a lot more downside to go on ES. So pretty cautious right now on ES. I don't see a turnaround in the works, and could get a couple day or two bounce, but right now the weekly momentum is definitely down. All right, taking a look at oil now. Oil had been in a really nice uptrend here, breaking the downtrend channel that had been in for quite some time. We'll finally take that off, clean up the screen a bit. We were in this uptrending channel. We even broke out to the upside of it, got a little bit overdone here. You could see overbought on the daily chart here on the right, overbought, and then finally just giving back up. And this back here was the sign that with this doji, with this candle here, this was the end. This was the top. Broke through the 3 ATR. We were back in it the next day, reversal candle, and we've headed lower pretty much since then in a pretty orderly fashion until today. Today we smashed through the 21-day moving average. So oil picking up some speed to the downside. A big down day on oil, almost a 3% drop on CL today. So right now, that's starting to set itself back up to some decent strangle opportunities, maybe some 112 opportunities in here. So I think there's some opportunities and some trades that we could potentially be jumping in on. But we'll wait it out a little bit here and see what happens. We don't have the buying power to put a whole lot of anything on right now, so we won't even bother with it. Gold just continues to pound its way higher. However, you've been massively overbought for a while, and you're starting to, even though we're hitting some newer highs intraday, RSI is tipping over. So you've definitely got divergence here, MACD divergence, squeeze divergence. I think gold's due for a bit of a pullback. We'll see how far of a pullback we see on gold. I'm going to pop out to a longer term. I'm not sure what this line is. Oh, that was our regression line showing this. I just want to get rid of that, clean up the charts a bit. So bearish PSAR move here, Gold starting to potentially tip over on the daily, but the weekly still very strong, even though it's massively overbought. I would expect some bit of a pullback to start here, but there's really nothing to play on this. I think it could accelerate hard to the downside, which could blow through any kind of a 1-1-2 trade that you have. I think it could continue to go to the upside if it just consolidates here. So I'd be a little bit nervous on putting on anything that was uh, like a call credit spread. So right now, I'm just going to stay out of gold. Definitely not setting up for a strangle at all until we get some more pullbacks. So I'm just staying out of gold, nothing to trade there. Bonds. All right, so with the dollar dropping a bit today, we're watching bonds. Bonds had a really nice reversal candle yesterday, and we did get a little bit of that reversal today. It's hard to see here on the weekly, but let's see if we can hold this up. Maybe it looks a little bit better here on bonds. Look where bonds have been in this downtrending channel on the weekly and on the daily. We hit the bottom of the channel here, which the last 2-3 sessions we have touched the 3 ATR, but it's at a 45-degree angle down, so we could follow it. But a nice reversal yesterday where the bulls kept it from going down, and then today the bulls pushed us higher, seeing a little bit of a rebound off of oversold levels on the daily and the MACD. That's potentially a positive to see here. The weekly still looks negative on the technicals, but this is a big hammer candle. This could signal potentially a reversal, but what we would have to see would be some follow through next week, potentially to the upside. So we would have to get above, what is this, 116? We got to give above 116 here. Now, we are also at the 618 fib, and that's where we came down to, and that's what we seem to have bounced off of. So we held it, and we're moving higher on that. So the 618 fib holding pretty good, which is another really good sign. Does it mean it's all clear and piling the bonds? No, but I still really like bonds. I really like some of the signs here on this thing for a bit of a rebound. We'll see what happens, but today, massive day for us. We are very heavily in bonds. We have a put credit spread was up nicely today. We have a 1-1-2 put debit spread, which is in pretty good shape still, as it is definitely in the money, in the trap. And then we also have another 1-1-2 trade, which is doing well. We have a strangle trade down fraction, another strangle trade down a fraction, and some naked puts that are pretty much flat. They're up about 5% in 5 days. So not bad on those naked puts. Good timing on those 5 days ago. I think today's another day to potentially put something on there. So I'm going to keep an eye out for this particular trade, see if there's something we could do. One of the things I would really want to consider on bonds is I may go out even further in time. Now, unfortunately, bonds don't really have leaps, but we can get out to about the 219-day moving average. Not a lot of open interest out there, but I'm going to be looking at some potential trades down around the 100, 101 level, maybe even 102 on bonds. And right now, those are paying off pretty decently. We have a pretty good return. We can take in about $1,000 on $3,000 in buying power. So I'm liking those trades as well. I'm going to continue to stay long. Let's see if bonds can get us any kind of a reversal in the next day or two. But I'm not going to shoot anything long more than I have right now, but I do like what we're seeing. Copper just been moving to the upside, just like gold. There's really nothing to do in here. I'm not getting enough two-sided action. I'd like to see more of a pullback for like a 1-1-2 trade. I think you could get beat to the downside or beat to the upside. So I'm staying out of it a bit. It's not a really good setup for anything in my book. NASDAQ, like the S&P, solid down couple days, solid down couple weeks. This thing does not look good. Closed at near the lows of the session. Everything falling. I would stay out of the way of NASDAQ. Now, we do have some BA 112s that we're running on NQ. Those are in the money, in the trap already. Those are starting to pay off nicely. We got a couple other 112 trades that are both, one's up, one's down a fraction. But this is a pretty significant sell-off and pullback, and it doesn't look like S&P or NASDAQ is stopping anytime soon. Similarly, on RTY, also very serious pullbacks. I'm not seeing anything stopping us from going even further down here. Now, we did make some adjustments on a 112 trade today, booking some of the profit, but still leaving it intact. We've got a ratio spread that's just a little bit underwater on it. And then we've also got a strangle that is just down fractionally here. I'm not too worried about that strangle overall. I think that looks decently. And then on the 6A, on the Aussie dollar, just kind of hanging in there this week. Looks like, a little bit of give and take, recovering most of a good chunk of yesterday's loss. We'll see if that starts to stem the tide. But we've got a strangle on in here, had a really good day there. It's down fractionally, but I think that's pretty good. But one of the things I think that's interesting to look at is 6E. Now, big drop in the last week. Last week was a massive drop on the euro, coming down into this territory, but a good reversal candle yesterday and an upside reversal today. I think this is also setting up for not a bad spot for maybe a put credit spread or something along those lines. I think on 6E, I'm going to take a quick look on the other chart. We could also do something a little bit longer term out. Might even look at like a 120-day trade and see what that's looking like. But I kind of like where we are here. I don't, it could go lower, but I think selling some naked puts here potentially on a bit of a reversal area might be worthwhile. I'm in no hurry to do that, and I don't want to necessarily do that in the middle of this downtrend. But I think if we get any more, solidification down here, I think that could also be setting itself up for potential trade. So there's where we are on a good handful of different trade ideas. If we want to look at the sectors briefly today, where were we? Well, the big sectors to the upside was mainly XLU, the utilities, having a big rebound reversal day. I really like the way utilities are acting in here. I think these set up well for a trade. I think if you're looking at financials, potentially at the 3 ATR on the daily, these are setting up for a trade, maybe a strangle trade opportunity. Biotech in here as well, trying to hold to 50. It's a little early for me. I'm going to hold off on that. And then regional banks kind of breaking below this descending triangle that we have, accelerating to the downside. That doesn't look too good either. And the biggest losers, semiconductors, just absolutely getting spanked to the downside after the break of this symmetrical triangle. So we called that break. And ever since that break, this thing has been on a downtrend. So nothing that we can do with that. And then tech stocks looking pretty ugly here as well. And then on the biotechs, looking ugly down here, breaking that descending triangle. So lots of opportunities set up with some of these triangle plays to the downside. If you're short, you're in pretty good shape, I think, right now, and I don't see anything changing. Taking a look at Apple, retesting support here. Bad 3 days for Apple. Momentum's to the downside, daily and weekly. I don't think this looks too good. Microsoft breaking, and Apple already trading below the 21 and the 50. 21's already below the 50. Okay. Microsoft not quite there yet, but you've broken the 21 and broken the 50 now today. Amazon breaking the 21, trying to hang on to it here, but also looking pretty weak in here. Meta breaking the 21-day moving average. All the technicals weak on the daily. Google is one of the lone holdouts here. This thing broke out of this nice ascending triangle. Nice move to the upside on Google. That one's at least hanging in there, looking okay for right now. And then you've got NVIDIA here looking ugly to the downside, breaking the 21 again today, closing near the lows of the day. You've got MACD falling, RSI falling, squeeze, potentially firing to the downside. And then even on the weekly, he saw bearish trade Look at this thing heading down from overbought. I think Nvidia could be in for a little bit of a trouble. So right now, I'm not seeing anything besides Google looking anywhere like it's going to try to help this market out at all. Tesla, the interesting thing here is this goes back a year, this trend line, and we're now looking to possibly bounce again off of this trend line. We'll extend it out a little bit further. So you had this channel to the downside. We're at the bottom of the channel. We're at the support level here that we established. This descending wedge pretty much still holding here. If we can bounce on Tesla, we'll see, but everything looks bearish for the most part. So I wouldn't expect to see a whole lot of anything. I think there's more pain to potentially go, but we are getting closer to an oversold level. Okay, Costco hanging in there, just trading sideways. It's one of the stocks that we're definitely looking at in the active trader service, waiting for this thing to maybe give us a break of this 21. Okay. Bad looking days ahead here for Salesforce. Gap down, just trading sideways. It's the 3-day rule. So you've got to wait 3 days after this gap to see where we hang and see if this thing gives you any sort of a sense of bouncing. Now it's right at the 21 EMA on the weekly, so it might be a place to find some support. We're also looking at Adobe. I really like the bottoming, the bottoming action here. You're right at the 20, the 200-day on the weekly. You're down here right around the 3 ATR. You've put in some nice sideways days with the market falling. I like the improvement. I like Adobe here. I think Adobe is one of those trades that we could definitely be looking at. And AMD, while we're looking like it was maybe going to hold this support level, crashed through that pretty good today, closing at the lows. You've got everything heading a little bit up and sideways, and then today just falling down. 21 crossed the 50 to the downside. This thing's looking not so great as well. So there's not a whole lot to hang your hat on. Bad day for semiconductors all around. To the upside, Shopify bounced yesterday and held yesterday at the 3 ATR and the 200 moving average. Moved up today. Could be an interesting play here. 50 EMA over here on the weekly as well. Shopify, good potential reversal play here. Boeing holding on to this particular level. It did break the support. So Boeing's still heading lower. Nothing saying that we're done going down. It looks ugly everywhere that you look, but 3 days trying to hang in there. Might be something coming up on the horizon. SoFi, maybe a reversal day yesterday with some, not quite enough follow through, but a little bit today. Nothing to hang your hat on yet. PayPal, trying to hold on to the 50-day moving average here. Nothing yet. So it's just a little early. I think you just stay out of most of these trades for a bit here. Abbott having a terrible time. AbbVie trying to hold this gap down. Let's see, will it fill this gap and then continue? Don't know. This thing gets some nice little reversal to it, but I don't know if you want to really play this falling knife quite yet. So again, we're holding off there. Palo Alto is holding sideways pretty good in this turbulent market, so it's not bad. MicroStrategy, which is our Bitcoin play, continues to head down, but I do like that we're getting into this 21 EMA here. This is broken pretty much everything and is heading lower. We're just going to let MicroStrategy continue to fall. Nothing to jump into yet. And then Coinbase here, really trying to hold some support around the 50. Anyway, I wanted to cover a handful of stocks. We don't do a ton on it, but I wanted to cover a handful. ARM getting smoked today as well, so it's not really helping out as well. There's not a whole lot that looks good on the stocks, which makes our trading all that much better the way we're doing it with our futures, and we're staying out of the fray when we're just playing what we see ahead of us. And what we see is everything heading down on the S&P and the NASDAQ and the RTY. So the major equity indexes, I don't think they're at their bottoms yet. All right, how did our portfolio do today? 1198 on Delta. So as we fell, Delta's still moving up, but we've got great theta at 0.45%. We had a great up day, almost over a $7,000 up day. So we've picked up over $12,000 in the last 2 days in net lick, which is what we expect to happen. You have some days where you go down early in the trade, but the longer you hold on and you let this massive theta work for us, the better this is going to start to play out. BP usage popped up a bit today. Overall, double check here in the after hours trading. I'm looking at 67% buying power, which basically means no trades right now. So we're not going to put on any new trades because we don't have the buying power. We're going to stay disciplined, even though I see lots of opportunities out there. I can't really do anything about it, but we did close out of over $4,000 worth of trades today. So a good day today in the market. Let's take a look at what we closed on the session. So 3 closing trades. The first one here was a naked put on copper futures on a 112. We closed that naked put today for a 94% winner, booked over $2,500 in that in just 51 days. Fantastic. We did some 0 DTE trading today. It was a pretty easy day. I think it was maybe 27, 30 minutes, something like that. We were in a directional 0 DTE trade today, puts us up $300 on that. So 0 DTE keeps paying off. If we look at our overall trades, again, strangles, we're still 21 of 23 for the year. So those are doing pretty doggone good. And then if we look at, I'm going to clear it. And we're going to look at 0 DTE here. If we take a look at our 0 DTE trades for the year, we have won 30 out of 32. So 30 out of 32 trades, which is a nice 94% win rate. So we have a 94% win rate on our 0 DTE trades. We booked over $4,600, almost $4,700 on those. So doing well on 0 DTE. I just don't have the time to trade it every single day. But overall, we're doing pretty well, and we're 94% win rate on our methodology for 0 DTE. All right, so there's where we are on those, and then the last winner on the day was we rolled up some short puts, so we made a little bit of a change here on RTY. We changed up our put debit spread, and we booked $1,245 on that on RTY. So everything paying off pretty well this month. We've got stuck with a ratio spread loss and a bond 112 naked put that got stopped. Other than that, having a pretty good month. We haven't even gotten into any of the 112 trades closing yet. And you would think that because we're moving downwards, not a whole lot of that's not going to happen at this point in time anyway. Do we have anything close? Well, we do. We have the May 17th 112 is at 90%. So we're waiting a little bit further on that one to close the naked puts, but we could close them anytime now. And then we've also got the May 31st at 86% winner overall. And that's together, there's $8,000 in realized P&L just waiting to be closed and booked, but it's appearing in our net lick. So net lick up at 832 on the year. So in really 3.5 months, okay, we're doing just fine. 8.32% is our net lick, 13.6% realized gains. The S&P is only at 590, so we've almost more than doubled in realized gains, and we're up probably 50% over the S&P year to date. So we're beating the S&P pretty well on the year. That's not really our goal, but certainly something tonight to take a nice look at. And then we'll continue to let this theta play out with this nice volatility here. And we'll just be letting trades mature, take themselves off, and then we'll book those for a profit. All right, so there's where we are when it comes to our particular portfolio. Things are working really well. I dropped in a few short videos as well. If you want to check those out, gives you a few trading tips of what we're doing with some of the members and what we're doing. Did a lengthy session today on how to adjust your put debit spreads. Okay, so we don't just put them on, take them off, wait till expiration. And we manage both sides of our trades individually. The naked puts of the 112, the PDS of the 112. Okay? We're trading them separately. We're managing them separately. We've updated our guidelines and our trade plans on that. And we did a little over an hour session with members today on how to adjust and book some of those profits. And that's keeping us moving as well. So like where we are overall, we could use a little bit of some sideways action here, but it's not looking like that from the charts. If you like this video, as always, click down below, give me the thumbs up on that. Really could use some likes there. Also, if you want to make some comments, we'll try to answer whatever we can. Trade rise if it makes sense and helps you guys out. And if you're not a member, subscribe to the YouTube channel, get the updates, see what we're doing, catch some of the shorts. Hey, we're going to be doing a full stock trading tomorrow. Even though we don't do that in our Income Navigator portfolio, we're going to do that in our active trader service. So tomorrow we're going to review a bunch of stocks and put out some trade ideas on that. So look for that earlier in the day tomorrow. So you can stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed, you're missing out. Get in there, do that. And if you want to see what we're doing, you want to trade stocks actively with us, make money, okay? We've had all winners in the active trader service in the last couple of weeks from my end. So we're doing well. Gabe's in there with his active trading and scalping futures as well. So if you want to scalp, okay, you want to trade stocks, Igor's in there with butterfly and spread trades as well. A lot of great stuff in the active trader service. If you're not there, come and join us there. If you want a little bit more of a stable premium selling service, Income Navigator is where you should be. There's a link down below, KING, get you $50 off the first month. Come and join us, check us out, see how you do, help us put a plan together that makes sense for you. Okay? Our goal is to give you a plan and the education to be able to fish for yourself. All right, everybody have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.